Before we get to the movie, I want to talk about a dumb thing that I found on Facebook.
On Facebook? A dumb thing?
Yeah, can you believe it? The tagline of the #1 movie on the day of your birth determines your fate.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I didn't want to participate in this on Facebook because I'm too cool for that, and also they're somehow using it to mine my data.
Yes.
But we can do it here, and Facebook can't touch us. Unless they can. The #1 movie on the day of my birth was something that no one remembers called Charlie and the Angel. The tagline is supernatural comedy.
That's your life.
That's pretty good. And the natural is in parentheses, so it's super natural comedy. I can't think of anything more flattering to myself.
And an apt description of your life.
The #1 movie on the day of your birth is the Clint Eastwood Western High Plains Drifter.
Yes, it is.
Did you already look this up?
I looked this up, yes.
Okay. Here's the tagline. It's a bit of a poem. They didn't know his face. They didn't know his name. But they'll never forget the day he drifted into town. You've drifted into quite a few towns in your day. You're a wanderer, you're a journeyer, and also you leave a lasting impression on people.
And they thought they killed me, but they didn't.
Wasn't that Hang 'em High?
That is Hang 'em High. They thought they killed my brother, and they did.
The #1 movie on the day of Tona's birth is the Monty Python film, and now for something completely different. Tagline is, a story too big to keep quiet.
Although I think that for Tona, you can just call her something completely different.
Yeah.
I've got a bunch of movies that I've never seen before. You don't know what they are. Every episode, I'm going to spring one on you. It might be good. It might be bad. We'll watch it and talk about it. Welcome to the basement.
Thank you for joining us in the basement. We hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Today is Black Friday, and that means the beginning of the Christmas season. So we thought we'd waste no time and watch a Christmas movie right away.
A little bit early this year, but...
All aboard! Please have your ticket ready. The next stop is the Uncanny Valley for the Polar Express.
Oh, Mr. Zemeckis!
Released in 2004, TPE was co-written and directed by basement alum Robert Zemeckis. It stars Leslie Zemeckis, Eddie Deason,
Oh, yes!
Peter Scolari, and basement alums Tom Hanks and Michael Jeter in his final film role. It is based on the children's book of the same name by Chris Van Allsburg. The production budget for this film was a whopping $165 million, the highest budget ever for an animated film. And it is listed in the 2006 Guinness Book of World Records as the first all-digital motion capture film. Tom Hanks, Peter Scolari, the bosom buddies, are back together again.
Keep it to yourself. It's their life.
Tonight's gift will allow you to decorate your holiday home with a popular movie character.
Da 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 da. E.T. the extraterrestrial.
Christmas ornament.
I'll be right here on your tree. I'm E.T. Greetings from Narnia.
So settle into your first-class seat on the old leather couch as we chug, chug, chug our way through the Polar Express.
Toot, toot.
The Anti-Snowpiercer.
On Christmas Eve, many years ago,
Krampus came to town and wiped out the entire population.
I was listening for a sound I was afraid I'd never hear.
My father saying I love you. He wonders if tonight he'll see Santa, but he's not sure he believes in Santa anymore.
Jingle bells? Batman smells?
If you think a dead-eyed monster like you is going to get any presents, think again.
And what to my wondering eyes did appear but nothing?
Santa left partial prints and traces of DNA, but nothing else.
It's clear that Santa Claus has to... Wait, no, there he is. Oh, where's the bathroom?
But it's just his dad and his little sister.
But he said Santa would have to fly faster than the speed of light to get to everyone's house in one night.
Darling, don't listen to Albert Einstein. He doesn't know everything.
Stark, barren.
The Greyjoys of the Iron Isles. These are all of the houses of Westeros.
Merry Christmas, sweetheart.
Yeah. A train pulls up right by his house. This kid is out of his mind on edibles right now.
It's the Polar Express.
All aboard!
The Night Train.
You coming?
Where?
Why, to the North Pole, of course.
I'm on a tight schedule, so I gotta get going. You gotta make up your mind.
What?
Suck it. Okay, never mind.
and off they go to polar parts of the world. Why are you leaving me? Come back! Don't you like old snowballs? He goes into a train car and it's filled with kids, but only 3 other ones get to talk. There's this nice young lady over here, and then there's this kid who talks like this.
Do you know what kind of train this is? Well, do ya?
The conductor goes around punching people's tickets. They've got these little golden tickets. That's what I think of your stupid ticket. Punchity punch.
Now it says the Oler Express, and he leaves cryptic messages on the tickets.
They're in the poor part of town. They're going to pick up this other little boy. He's not sure he wants to get on either, and he delays a little too long. He can't catch up to the train. Pull the emergency brake.
He pulls.
Train stops. Little boy gets on.
Is anyone thirsty? Refreshments!
Hey, it's a Polar espresso machine. And a little song called We Got It.
Oh, we got it. Hey, we got it.
We got it!
Boom, you got chocolate.
If he starts breakdancing.
Well, moonwalking qualifies as breakdancing, doesn't it?
We got it. We got it. Whatever. Everyone enjoys some hot chocolate. They got it. But the little boy in the next car, he didn't get any.
Well, let's take some to him by all means.
And the boy notices that the girl left behind her ticket.
And it hasn't been punched. He tries to get it back to her, but he loses it.
Oh, you little idiot. The ticket follows a circuitous path through the wind and various animals. And finds its way back to the train. The boy admits that he lost the ticket.
You can have my ticket.
These tickets are not transferable.
Just like Gen Con 4-day passes. I learned that the hard way. All right, little girl, come with me. He's going to throw her off the train. Then the boy notices the ticket that has returned. He takes it. He goes after them. It's the banjo kid from Deliverance.
That's what I was thinking.
He ends up on the roof of the train. Tom Waits, what are you doing here?
Is there something I can do for you?
They drive along the pipeline, they tango to their shore.
I hop aboard this rattler anytime I feels like it.
Sometimes I get a savage beating from the railroad bulls, but other than that, it's worth it. Don't drink that, kid, unless you want to get hep C. The hobo comes back with some skis. If we don't get to safety before we get to Flat Top Tunnel,
The tunnel will disintegrate you.
And just at the very last minute, the boy tumbles into the coal bin.
I'm saving this coal for all the bad boys who steal little girls' tickets.
And the little girl is there. The conductor took her there and told her to drive the train. There's these 2 goofs that are trying to change a light bulb. They're hanging from the train. They're screaming. We have to stop the train. There's something on the tracks up ahead. Little girl, which one is the brake? It's that one. Are you sure? Yeah. He pulls the brake. The train stops. And they see what's on the tracks. It's a herd of caribou. 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 Repent. We need to get these caribou to go away. How about screaming at them? They heard you. And the train is going full steam ahead, but it's going too fast.
They're heading towards Glacier Gulch. This is the steepest decline in the entire world.
Oh no! And everyone's screaming. The tracks have been covered up by this ice. So the train is no longer on the tracks. They all almost fall off the train, but they're brought back by that hobo who turns out to be a ghost.
That dusty daddy.
They're back on the tracks.
Well, that's more like it.
They pass through a car of abandoned toys.
Some of the toys are creepy, and some of the toys talk.
He said the train was actually on the ice, but I said that was impossible.
That kid is the Spectrum.
Yes, he is. Hey, what about that kid in the caboose? Let's go hang out with him.
You'll find me Christmas Eve.
Push.
I think of him when Christmas comes to town. The best time of
Oh, so beautiful.
presents for the children. but never really seen.
Now, if you'll excuse me, this is the part of the movie where I step out to the latrine.
'Cause it's the bathroom scene.
Look!
Aurora Borealis, the icy sky at night. Paddles cut the water in a long, unhurried flight. Finally, they arrive at the North Pole, and on schedule.
It's Christmas Town, the North Pole.
Hey!
Wait a minute. This is Leningrad. They brought us to Russia.
Oh, welcome to town. I'm Kreshnev. I'm happy to make your acquaintance.
Who gets the first gift at Christmas?
Not you, dweeb miser. Everyone gets off the train, but the poor boy stays behind.
Look, you have to come with us.
I just want to stay here and sing crappy songs.
Christmas just doesn't work out for me.
I'm cynical.
People hang decorations and lights.
Sometimes those decorations are E.T. branded merchandise. That kid has deep ears. They all do. Ears aren't that deep.
They accidentally uncoupled the caboose, and the caboose is now out of control.
It goes this way, and it goes that way, and it ends up on this thing.
We're spinning.
My second round of edibles is kicking in.
All they need to do is follow the jingle bells. They have to climb across this ravine. In a more serious Christmas movie, one of the kids would have died in this scene.
They end up in this kind of elf war room. They are able to detect naughty occurrences.
I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
What?
I didn't do it.
Yeah?
I didn't do it.
Yeah, ba. Of course!
And they all land on this big pile of gifts in this big sack. Santa's scrotum.
The bag is lifted up,
and it is brought to the town square and put onto Santa's sleigh. We need to summon Santa from his deathless sleep so that he may rise. And then Santa makes his big entrance, and a sleigh bell falls off of the thing, and it lands at the boy's feet, and it has such significance.
the big man comes out. Santa the Claus himself. And now he's going to give out the first gift of the season. Probably not one of those other 20 kids. It'll most likely be one of the 4 that we've met.
Let's have this young fellow right here.
I want to be able to hear the jingle bell because he finally believes in Santa Claus.
Yes, indeed.
My T-Bird, my steed.
Santa takes off. The elves are grotesque.
Yes, they are.
There's a dance party.
Back to the train with the kids. They have to be dropped off in time to wake up in the morning. They get their tickets punched again, and all of the cryptic messages become clear.
It says lead.
You're going to grow up to be a plumber.
And the important thing for the hero boy, as he's called in the credits,
suck it. What does that mean?
Is to believe.
Wow, what a trip we just had, guys. Good night, huh? Oh no, my pocket has a hole in it. The sleigh bell fell out, and it's too late to go back and get it. The sleigh bell is gone.
Billy gets dropped off at home. Finally has a present on Christmas.
Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing.
Almost as amazing as how deep my ears are. The boy gets dropped off at his house. He goes to bed. He's woken up in the morning by his sister. Santa's come. Gifts. Hey, woohoo, come on down.
He gets all these presents from his parents, but there's one last tiny present.
It's that sleigh bell.
Better fix that hole in your pocket.
He gives it a little ringy-dingy. He and the sister think it's the most wonderful sound in the world. But when the parents see it, they give it a little ringy-dingy, and it does not ringy, nor does it dingy. They can't hear it because they're adults, and they've lost the wonder of childhood.
Sorry about that, sport.
Well, not really. I'm a grown-up with bigger concerns, like a mortgage and a job that I don't like. The narrator is the little boy who's all grown up, and he says, I'm all grown up, and I can't hear that sleigh bell anymore, but I remember when I did. And I remember my unforgettable trip on the Polar Express. The Polar Express. I don't remember the last time I watched a children's movie that was this lacking in charm. And its lack of charm is not just in the faces and the eyes, which are truly unsettling. That is not exaggerated. What you've heard about this movie, it's all true. I don't understand how anyone can look at those kids and go, aw, they're little monsters. Yeah. I wasn't bothered by the conductor. I think because he wore glasses. So they hid the fish eyes.
We were constantly told throughout the movie to prepare yourself for the magic. Isn't this wondrous, the movie says to us? No. Compare this movie with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
You can't help but do that.
Yes. Everything is supposed to be momentous, and almost everything in the movie
is not. They spend way too much time outside the train. I wanted to see the boy go through this chocolate factory of a Polar Express.
Yes.
I wanted to see the wonders that are contained therein. This is the room of snow globes.
Yeah. It should have been like Snowpiercer if all of the train cars were magical.
Yeah, exactly. I don't need these long action set pieces. Okay, so now there's this weird thing about the actors played multiple characters.
Mm-hmm.
The adult actors played the children. Those are adult bodies that they put these kids' faces on. And kids' voices, except in the situation of Eddie Deason where he does his own voice.
Yeah.
It's just weird. Why wouldn't they cast kids?
Maybe they thought that it was such a new technology to have whatever those suits
They
are.
couldn't comprehend it or work with it.
Is it even legal to put these on kids?
Yeah, right. There was one scene in here that I really, really liked, and that was the ticket. Flying out of the train and its journey back to the train. As soon as it started, I thought to myself, I hope that's what it's going to do.
Yeah.
And it did it.
And that was such a thing to see.
And there's one other reason why that's the best scene in the movie. No human faces.
Except for when it hits the hobo underneath the train.
Was that a hobo? What did the hobo even have to do with anything?
I don't know.
He was just talking. What he was saying made no sense. He didn't really give any lessons or wisdom. He was sort of this trickster, but he didn't do anything. I thought it was kind of neat that he was camped out on the roof of the train.
That was
visually and conceptually a very interesting idea.
There's lots of visually, conceptually interesting ideas in this movie, but it all happens so fast that you don't really get to enjoy it.
There were so many concepts that just weren't put across. Well, the idea that the boy can't hear the music of the bell. I didn't get that until the very end. The reason we're taking this trip is because Santa's going to give one of you the first gift.
Yeah.
That's barely spoken.
Why were they all chosen?
Yeah.
That's another thing they could have done on the train. Introduce us to more people.
Give them names. Why none of them have names except Billy.
Yeah.
And Billy's not the main character. I was so much looking forward to Eddie Deason. I've been a fan of his ever since the 80s, and I so much did not enjoy him in this movie. As soon as he started talking, I was like, oh, I'm not going to want to listen to this for very long.
Luckily, they basically shove him in a big bag for 30 minutes.
You got to have the face to go with the voice, the face and the body language.
Yeah. Watching the train whip around on the ice. That was something I've never seen in any other movie before.
And what's the point of having Steven Tyler show up for 30 seconds?
Oh, jeez. It'd become Shrek at that moment.
Yeah.
It would also be like if they started pulling sledgehammers out of nowhere and hitting each other in the heads and their eyes bulging out, you know. It's not the same movie.
Well, the Polar Express has pulled into the station, and now it is time for us to disembark to Seen It.
Seen It.
Our theme for Seen It is variations on Dickens, different versions of the timeless classic A Christmas Carol. Nat Pix writes, the Mr. Magoo Christmas Carol is my favorite. I tear up at I'm All Alone in the World, and I love raspberry dressing. Seen it?
Not seen it.
You probably saw it when you were a kid.
No, I don't think so, but go on.
Mr. Magoo is playing Ebenezer Scrooge on Broadway. So there's this Broadway framing device. So he can do his Mr. Magoo shtick.
Yeah.
He cracks up his car on the way to the theater. He can't find the stage door. Shenanigans. And then most of it is the story. It is a musical. They do songs. And the song I'm All Alone in the World is really moving. It shows you how good of an actor Jim Backus is. That he can really sell this silly character playing this mean character who's breaking your heart with this song.
Patrick Rucker writes, Blackadder's Christmas Carol? Seen it.
Seen it. This is the weird thing. Blackadder's Christmas Carol was the first Blackadder I ever saw. So I didn't get the joke of, in this, he starts out a nice guy, and then the ghosts convince him to be a rat bastard.
Yes.
I got that joke, but I didn't get the Blackadder aspect of it.
And you get to see just how good Rowan Atkinson is. because when he plays a nice guy, he's still being insulting. But he says it in such a sweet manner that it's like, oh, he's just my friend.
I love the fact that the Ghost of Christmas Future is actually from the future. This Doctor Who kind of future. Vincent Cuseo. My favorite version of his 1951 Scrooge starring Alistair Sim. Outstanding movie. Seen it.
Seen it.
Sim plays the role with such a heaviness and a sadness from the outset. Right when Jacob Marley shows up, you can just tell how beaten and sad Scrooge is.
Mm-hmm.
He sort of breaks your heart before he warms your heart at
Yes.
the end. That's really how you have to play Scrooge. I saw a community theater production of Christmas Carol years ago, and the guy playing Scrooge was just like, yay, get away from me. And that's just the wrong way to go about it. Scrooge has to have dimensions. He has to have a heart that's been buried by all of this crap.
Yes.
But it's still there.
This is the one where Jacob Marley throws open the window when he points out to the street, and you see all the ghosts down in the street.
I think so, yeah.
Desperately trying to get people's attention. Oh, that just reminds you that, again, this is a horror story that takes place at Christmas time. Why don't more horror stories end with someone being redeemed and a happy ending?
A horror where the people who are caught up in the horror are changed instead of doomed or killed.
Count of Monte Cristo writes, my favorite is the Muppets Christmas Carol. Seen it.
Seen it.
It's done straight. There are comic elements in this movie, but it is still a drama. It's some of the best performances of Kermit and Piggy's career, which is so absurd sounding when I say it out loud, but it's true.
Statler and Waldorf
Mm-hmm.
played Marley.
Mm-hmm.
Did you notice that the names were Jacob and Robert Marley?
Jacob and Robert?
Bob Marley. Fran Newhouse asks, have you seen the FX A Christmas Carol? It was pretty engaging, despite its 3-hour runtime, but there was something about it that wasn't quite right. Seen it.
Not seen it.
This is a radical reimagining of A Christmas Carol. It changes the entire story. I think only the Are There No Prisons scene is intact from the original. What's not quite right about it is that it doesn't work. The Scrooge story is a redemption story. You want this man to go through these trials and come out on the other side changed in some way. You quickly realize with this Scrooge that that's going to be impossible because he and Marley commit atrocities. They cause that Welsh mining disaster because they deliberately cut corners and safety measures. If it turns out all right, we save money, and if it doesn't, we get insurance money. So Scrooge is a mass murderer.
Yes.
And then, I'm not going to say that he rapes Bob Cratchit's wife, but what he does is pretty rapey. And so at that point, you're out. Mm-hmm. You're done. And he doesn't really get redeemed at the end, and that doesn't work either because you want that catharsis. You want that moment where he says, I want to change.
Yes.
Well, at this point, you should follow the beautiful jingling bells over to our website, welcome-to-the-basement-show.com. There are all of our episodes there that you can watch, and PayPal donation buttons that you can click on to donate to help support this show. Your sponsorship is greatly appreciated. Brant, who says, I was wondering what you thought about long movies. I just finished watching Satan Tango, but due to a busy life of finishing my doctorate, I had to split it up into several viewing sessions. I end up doing this all the time. Even with movies that are only 2 hours long, many cinephiles say this is blasphemy. What do you think? I think that most of the time, when someone calls something blasphemy, 9 out of 10 times they're full of it. Satan Tango's like 7 hours long.
I've never seen it. I don't know. Yes.
You watch the movie in the way that was necessary for you to be able to do it. Is it better to do it that way or to wait 6 months or a year or 2 years when you finally have a 7-hour block you can sit and watch it? Your life is your life. Watch movies the way that works for you.
I have 2 kids, one who wakes up at all hours of the night. I'm not going to stay up until midnight watching a movie because I can't afford the lack of sleep.
Yeah.
So I have to break things up quite a bit myself.
To find out who the rest of our donors are and to see the exciting contents of our mail crate, you can watch Unboxing. It comes out this coming Friday. Mail! You won't believe the crazy stuff that we get sent in our P.O. box, and you can find out by watching Unboxing. We hope that watching the Polar Express with us gave you a little bit of holiday cheer, and we also hope that you'll watch this.
We hope it. You know, the sad thing about wearing masks, other than everything, is that we really can impersonate these kids. Properly.
I don't think I could anyway, because I have a soul.